Boris Johnson, de kleurrijke burgemeester van Londen, neemt deze week afscheid. Hij is nu vooral in het nieuws als leider van de Brexit-campagne. De beweging die Engeland uit de EU wil hebben. Maar meent hij dat ook echt? Zo kent de wereld Boris Johnson. Een grote, blonde, fietsende man in de straten van Londen. Benaderbaar, luidruchtig. En met een uitgesproken voorkeur voor het middelpunt van de belangstelling.
Brits have this crazy thing about sense of humour. You know, if you're funny, if you make people laugh in this country, you get away with an awful lot.
If any other politician anywhere in the world got stuck on a zip wire, it would be, disastrous. For Boris, it will be an absolute triumph.
So you do this?
I do. Sometimes, Boris all the time is like this messy, yeah. Haircut, the nice one, is little messy.
Hij is flamboyant, spraakmakend en ontzettend populair. Burgemeester Boris Johnson van Londen.
Okay, I've got that one. Oh.
Hij is openlijk voorstander van een Brexit. Van het idee dat Engeland uit de EU stapt.
Because I want a better deal for the people of this country.
Of is die anti-EU-houding maar een pose? En alleen maar een vehikel op weg naar zijn uiteindelijke doel. De premier van Engeland worden.
And I think he did go to the outside partly because he wants to oppose Cameron and he thinks that the next leader of the Tory party will be from that side.
Boris is a very good man.
Het is spannend. Op 23 juni mogen de Engelsen naar de stembus voor een referendum over het lidmaatschap van de Europese Unie. Blijven ze lid of stappen ze eruit? De regering van premier David Cameron doet er alles aan om lid te blijven.
We will be in the parts of Europe that work for us, influencing the decisions that affect us.
En dat leek goed te gaan, totdat nota bene partijgenoot Boris Johnson ineens een heel ander standpunt innam.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I thought I'd better come out and say something because I could see that you were all in a great mass here.
De conservatieve partij is verdeeld en het land ook. Wie is deze onrustzoker en krijgt hij de Engelsen mee? We gaan op zoek naar de drijfveren van Boris Johnson en beginnen bij de man die hem het allerlangste kent, zijn vader.
Hey, hello. Come on in.
Thank you for having us.
I'm afraid it's rather untidy. We only arrived here yesterday already.
Really?
And we just thought we had to change house, but so it's a bit of a disorder. So that's a good one. You see, look. You see there's Boris. There's Boris.
Yes.
Rachel, Leo, Joe. Oh, there's a picture of me and Boris. Look, that's Boris.
Bevoorrechte kinderjaren met onderwijs op de beste scholen. Maar Boris heeft ook een onrustige jeugd. De familie Johnson verhuist 30 keer in 15 jaar. Vader Stanley werkt in New York, Brussel en Londen. En Boris vertrekt op zijn 13e naar het beroemde Eton College. Een privékostschool met naar verluidt het beste onderwijs van Engeland. And what makes Eton different from other good schools?
Normally, the kind of answer is that it gives you a certain sense of self-confidence. I don't know, self-confidence.
Do you think Boris got it there?
No, I think he was probably born with it. I have a feeling I was born with it.
Het is opmerkelijk. Als we Boris Johnson leren kennen, zien we een man die Europa letterlijk door zijn aderen heeft stromen. Via voorouders met Turkse, Franse en Duitse wortels. En met een vader die jaren voor de Europese Commissie werkte.
First, I started off in 1973 as one of the very first British people to be appointed to the European Commission. Not as a commissioner, but as a staff person.
Zoon Boris is dus opgegroeid met de Europese gedachte, maar nu een hartstochtelijk pleitbezorger van een vertrek uit de EU. Hoe zit dat? Was he a Eurosceptic from the beginning?
No. See, I would never ever describe him as a Eurosceptic. In private, when he is sort of real Boris, he's actually rather sympathetic to the whole European project, the European cause. He speaks lots of European languages, unlike most Brits. He's very much at home in Brussels.
Journalist Sonja Purnell is een oud-collega van Johnson. Voor hij de politiek inging, was Boris namelijk correspondent in Brussel voor de Daily Telegraph. Hij schreef dus over Europese zaken, maar dan wel in Boris Johnson-stijl.
It was always about personal aspects of your life, I mean, bananas or hairnets or fishermen, or I think there was going to be ridiculous regulations on the size of coffins or something, or the size of condoms. I think that's another one of his, total.
Het is typisch Johnson, zegt ze. Hij heeft een feilloos gevoel voor onderwerpen die gevoelig liggen.
There was no commercial opportunity to make his name by being yet another person in favour of the European Union. How he was going to make his name was by taking a different point of view. And he was quite honest about it occasionally. He'd say that, yes, he'd seen a market opportunity and he'd seized it, and he seized it brilliantly. I mean, let's face it. He was a brilliant writer and a creative one. I mean, a lot of those stories that he wrote about Brussels then may have had a germ of truth in them, but they were exaggerated beyond, any normal bounds.
De kans zien, hem met 2 handen grijpen en dan nog scoren. Als er iets is dat in Boris Johnson goed ontwikkeld is, moet het dat talent zijn.
When he's playing games, you see his incredible competitiveness. The fact that the boy was about 10 years old didn't stop Boris from absolutely trying to sort of put his shoulder down and charge him out of the way.
Aan de voet van het Britse parlement ontmoeten we historicus Andrew Jimson. Hij schreef de biografie van Boris Johnson. Jimson volgt al jaren de altijd zichtbare rivaliteit tussen Johnson, de burgemeester, en Cameron, de premier.
But are they really competitors, or is it an image that it's really convenient for the both of them?
I think they are competitors because they both want to be top, and Boris couldn't run for the leadership of the Conservative Party in 2005 because he'd had a couple of recent scandals, and so the Conservatives thought he was too unreliable. So Cameron got it in 2005 and has held it ever since, which is a long time. And of course Boris wants it, yes.
He's been Mayor of London for 8 years, but he's never really taken that job as a full-time important job. It was always seen as a stepping stone to becoming Prime Minister.
I would have thought that he would really like to be a good painter. So I think what I'm trying to say to you is I very much doubt if ambition drives Boris more than anybody else. I think that would be unusual.
But it just came along, you say?
Yeah, it just came along.
Boris Johnson zelf wil onze vragen niet beantwoorden. En dus moeten we het doen met commentaar van insiders. Johnson heeft zijn blik gericht op Downing Street 10, zeggen ze. Politieke uitgeleiders, buitenechtelijke schandalen, ze staan hem niet in de weg.
And he's very, very devoted to his wife and his 4 children.
Yeah.
But as someone said to me when I was writing my book, it's just that he'd like to have more than one wife.
Yeah.
He's a political Houdini. Know Houdini in Holland? So he manages to get out of all sorts of scrapes through humour, through charm, and through this, I'm really talking to you, and you and I both know that I didn't really mean it, and it was just a kind of a joke. And that's how he gets away with it.
Is it charming when you meet him?
He can be very charming.
My wife is a socialist and she disapproves of him. But whenever we meet, after about 3 seconds, he's got her laughing away and sort of blowing kisses to him and everything. I mean, he's a seducer, actually, and he uses these seductive abilities in politics.
I would like to see a new relationship based more on trade, on cooperation, but as I say, with much less of this supranational element.
First time is 2 years ago, coming here. It's like the haircut. It's come back all the time, the hair.
Every time he cuts his hair?
Every time, yeah, I do, yeah.
So this is how Boris looked when I first met him in the 1990s, and notice how very neat his hair is. And that's how it is naturally. But of course we've come to see him as the guy with the really messy hair. That takes a lot of work, believe me, a lot of, putting his hands through his hair and messing it all up before the camera starts. Yeah, for the image, because 2 together, whereas if you've got messy hair, well, that kind of takes people by surprise. It creates a persona that isn't quite so threatening or challenging.
De politieke Houdini die overal mee wegkomt. Zou de hele Brexit dan alleen maar een persoonlijke campagne zijn voor het premierschap? Een zorgvuldig gekozen gelegenheidsargument?
Well, I think he found it very difficult because I think he knows, he's quite intelligent enough to know that there are very strong arguments on both sides, and he put these arguments himself. So I think it was, he wavered for a long time.
But again, where is the market opportunity? The market opportunity is to lead the Leave campaign, is to see Cameron defeated in the Brexit referendum in June. There probably will then be a job vacancy in Downing Street, and guess who would be ready and willing and able to take it? Well, this is the way that he clearly sees it.
So it's more a strategy than a belief, maybe?
It's a curious mixture, but obviously it is a strategy as well. At the very least, it's a strategy as well as a belief. Yes.
Een niets ontziende ambitie, verscholen achter een warrige koep en spraakmakende optredens.
We've got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity which will not come again.
Als zijn plan slaagt, zou Boris de nieuwe premier van Engeland moeten zijn. Maar trotse vader Stanley wil daar allemaal niet van horen.
All I know is he's doing a good job now as mayor. He's doing a job, presumably as part of this quote-unquote leave campaign. And he has made it absolutely clear that whatever happens, the present Prime Minister, David Cameron, will stay in office because he's done what he said he would do. So whatever happens, Boris is there fully and squarely behind the government.
Would you be happy if he's the next Prime Minister? Your next Prime Minister?
Well, it would be fascinating. I think as a journalist one would be happy actually, because he just provides such good copy.
If you ask me, and I've probably studied Boris, God help me, more than anybody else, what would Boris as Prime Minister be like? What would he do as Prime Minister? I can honestly tell you I have no idea. It would be theatrical, but what he would actually do with the country, no one has any idea. Maybe not even himself.
What does he believe?
Well, he believes in Boris. He believes in everyone having a good time.
Is that enough for a Prime Minister?
Well, very, very fixed beliefs, except in certain circumstances, can be a terrible hindrance, I think one might say.
Boris, can you step in for a second, please? Thank you.
Op 23 juni stemmen de Britten over het verlaten van de EU.